Hello, and welcome to another episode of Politics and Wellness. I am your host, Captivating Christian, and along with me and brother Nate, this is Tuesday. And what do we do every Tuesday? Talk politics, news, and everything else. And without further ado, hopefully everyone has had a great week. So let me give yourselves a round of applause for getting, starting off this week with all the semi news that we got going on. Hey, Petty Duke, how are you? Brother Nate, let me know when you're ready, sir, so we can get this show rolling. Hopefully everybody's had a great start to their week. And we can all get it going. And welcome to the people in the balcony. Hey, what's going on? Auntie Melissa Scott. What's up, Rico the Brat? Hopefully you behave yourself in here. And are you ready, sir? Because I was looking, and I don't know if you gave me the okay. I didn't want to, I don't be wanting to pop you up here without you.
Yeah, I'm flicking my thumb.
But anyway, how you been, sir? What's going on?
Doing quite well,
great.
sir. Yourself? Hey, I like that new intro. Look at that. Oh,
yeah. So I figured
you quote me
I
on that
give
one.
you a little. I give you a little homage. I was downtown Baltimore, so I had to. So it was nice. I was like, I'll throw this in here. So hopefully you guys like it. I'm still working on the ending. But yeah. So
I really had to laugh at that. I'm like, whoa! God damn.
Where you find that at?
Trying to get me ducks.
So where you find that at?
Yeah, I'm like, boy. Okay. How's everybody doing this evening? Hey, Fatty, hey, Rico. Hey, Melissa. How you doing, girl?
What's going on? What's going on?
Hey, Patty, quick question. You all good? You've been hanging up in the balcony for the past couple of weeks. We don't have to send out a wellness check on you.
Right. Hey, James Smith, how are you? Welcome to the live, and welcome to Politics and Wellness. All right. So without further ado, let's get this show on the road with, of course,
You're muted. Can y'all hear me in the chat? Thank you. I tell you, stuff always happening at the last minute.
All right, let's try this again. How about now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, there's a monkey shit. Because I was unmuted. I wasn't even muted. That's why I was like, what the hell?
But it showed up on the screen. Your microphone was muted.
No, it wasn't muted on my end. But all right, so we're not gonna tarry long with some of these updates because some of them we've talked about previously. Is this about the woman who's been in jail pregnant that advocates were trying to secure her release?
Yeah, well, they've released 5 of them. They had a whole bunch of them that they had locked up.
Okay, that's what I was. Okay, because I had skimmed over it and I was like, 5. Where did 5 come from? I know that.
They were collecting them like Pokemon.
Wow. Yeah, and they were required to pay $2,500 bond and be drug tested for 48 to 72 hours. Wow, that is crazy.
Yeah, remember they weren't charged with anything. They were just holding them.
They were just holding them. Yeah. I remember now. That is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Good evening, everyone coming into the chat.
Hey, welcome, everybody. So of course, this first story we talked about previously about a pregnant woman who was in jailed in Alabama, no less, and being held and not given any prenatal care or anything of that nature. So there's been this push to have not only that woman released, but 5 others have been released thus far. And, they're pushing to release a lot more pregnant women in jail. I didn't know this was even a thing until I seen that first story. But it's definitely something to check out. And this is where we have to protect ourselves and protect our bodies because they ain't going to do it for you.
Yeah, now these women need to get together and have a class action suit.
Yes, definitely. The other story, I don't remember. We may have talked about it, maybe not. I don't remember it. But I know you put updates, and I was like, there was an update to this. But apparently, police officers in Philadelphia, county.
Oh, yes, Fanta? Is that
the
one, Fanta?
Yeah, the Fanta.
That's the 8-year-old girl that was shot. I think they were at a football game or something.
Yeah, I read that they were at a football game, high school football game, and the officers shot into the crowd.
Yeah, and shot her and her sister.
Right, they shot her sister, killing her, but wounding the sister and I think 8 other people. That was during this altercation that was probably over, a call being called or something, and they really opened fire in the whole crowd, not even up in the air, just open fire at the entire crowd, which I think, again, and the fact that their lawyer is saying that this is political, that they're being charged, is like, no, that's reckless. How do you just fire into a crowd of individuals?
Well, the one problem that they had was the 3 officers, they couldn't figure out whose bullet actually struck her.
Right.
So what they're going to do is charge all 3.
Yeah, they're going to charge all 3. Well, some people were calling for them to do forensic tests or whatever, but they're just going to charge the 3 officers.
Since they were just shooting everybody at random. So.
But I'm just curious to know who's going to get the larger sentence. You know how they like to do.
There is a dark one in there.
Yeah, right. You know how they like to do. The dark ones always get, the dark ones and the coloreds always get the
The what? The coloreds?
The coloreds. Those are the others, because they act like they're not colored until it's time to drop the hammer. Then they realize that they're colored.
They're colored, yeah,
and they get the same treatment as as the blacks do when it comes to the legal system. Ask that guy who sat there and watched George Floyd die, that officer. Yeah, because the white guy who did the same thing that the mixed guy did only got 2 years. He's able to serve his 2 years in federal prison, cushioned and relaxed. His state and federal time in the federal prison. The other two, not so much. Okay? Not so much. They gotta serve state time in state jail and federal time in federal jail, and they're not congruent. His is congruent. He can sit there, and if they're good behavior, they can knock off his sentence. He'll be out in a couple months. The white man.
That's crazy.
How about it?
It is really crazy.
How about it? But you gonna sit here and say that this is not? None of this is racist. It's all about justice. That makes no sense. No way. You can't even tell me. But that's crazy. But yeah, so these 3 officers are allegedly going to be charged with the same crime. But we shall see.
He said allegedly. Yeah. That word gets thrown around a lot.
It does. It does. It makes me laugh though. Let's see. So there was no really news updates. There was just a couple of news articles that I definitely just wanted to talk about because I don't be having time to really talk about them. But this Trump endorsed Michigan House candidate that is fine with women not being able to vote.
Uncle Ruckus. Damn if he don't look like Uncle
Ruckus. That's what I said. That's why I put it. As soon as I seen him, I was like, damn if you don't look like Uncle Ruckus. And then the shit you're talking about makes it even worse. I said, my goodness. But the part that I had a question with, and this is the part that a lot of these Trump fans or people who believe kind of sort of, I don't want to say like he believes, but that follow him because he don't really believe in anything. He just, it's all about the popularity for him. They don't really do their research when it comes to the stuff that they talk about in the history, because it's like, okay, cool. If you don't want women to vote, you do know that the women's vote, especially the white women's vote, came along with ushering in the black people with the right to vote. Affirmative action was ushered in by white women and that whole thing. So it's like, if you chip away at these laws, just and then part of me thinks that maybe just because he thinks that he's in with the in crowd, that they'll let him vote and kind of still be cool, and everybody else will just fall by the wayside. But I'm just I really don't understand how you don't think that those things kind of marry each other. So if they get rid of the women's right to vote, you do know that your right to vote is going in the can.
Thank goodness they're dumb.
You know what I'm saying? I just didn't. And then talk about women are smarter than men. Where is that proven? Where is that? It's like baseless stuff. And just because you went to Stanford, somebody's supposed to, do what with this? Because the reality is,
you can be book smart, but street stupid.
Right, that too. And then too, you were affirmative action hire. The reality of it is, I'm sure you probably didn't come from the most greatest of means, and not saying that you can't and rise above, but we have to look at the time and that era. They were looking to pull people out of certain situations and give them a chance to have an Ivy League education, because it looks good when they can promote you around the university and go, look what we're doing. Look at this great thing that we're doing. Look, we're creating great citizens that come from impoverished neighborhoods. So at the same time, you're puffing them up, making them think that they're better than everybody else because they made it. It's like, really look at your track record, sir. You're not,
I just think the majority of the time, especially when it's black candidates, that it's just revenge. I really just believe that it's revenge.
Right.
All those people that said I wouldn't make it.
Right.
All that all that, excuse the expressions, lady, all that poontang
You're right.
that you would turn
That
down.
denied me. Right,
You would
exactly.
that you just denied me, and now I'm going to make life
A living
miserable
hell.
for
Yeah.
you.
Clarence Thomas.
Mm,
Another
all the way
Clarence.
around,
Yeah, all
because they
around.
all fall in that same mold. Every
Right.
last one of them.
Right. It's like, mofo, nobody would give you the time of day. So now that nobody would give you the time of day, you're going to make a little living hell because, oh, yeah, you didn't want to go with prom. You didn't want to go to prom with me. You
Mhm.
didn't want to do this with me.
You made me stay home, and I had the
Right.
jacket. I'm going to get you back,
I had the
bitches,
jacket on my grandmother's sofa with the plastic
with the
touching me in
plastic.
my ass.
The only good thing about it was easy to clean up.
Yeah, right. Get your dirty ass off my sofa.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Ass sticking
that's
to the
his
plastic.
name is John Gibbs. So please make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that if you live in Michigan, do not. And granted, I'm just saying you can vote who you want to vote for, but just read up on these people.
Mhm.
Please just don't be going around voting blindly just to throw a vote away. I think
No, at
that's
least
crazy.
somebody with some common sense,
Yeah.
and with some platform. You need to know what it is they're
Yeah.
actually going to attempt to do.
This running for political office has turned into
It's a circus. It's a circus.
the worst. Like, we go from having someone who he had to be at the top of everything. They had to be at the
Oh, he was the best.
everything in
He
order
only
to even be
hires the
considered.
best.
Right. And now you just throwing shit at the air and seeing all the wall and seeing if it sticks. And then you're like, oh, yeah, that's a good candidate. What? What are we doing? Yeah, it's just crazy to me. But anyway, on some more lighter, entertaining news.
We're going to hell. We're just going to hell. That's all.
Well, if we ain't already been there.
Mhm.
Byron Allen wins big against his historical lawsuit. Moving forward with the lawsuit, that wasn't even like the lawsuit itself. It was just so the judge could say, no, they got a point.
Mhm.
McDonald's, you know, billions and billions serves. They're gonna be serving billions and billions to Byron Allen's media company if the judge sees it his way, or the jury, depending on what angle they go with this. But basically, nutshell of the story, and you can check it out on the rundown. But he has said that McDonald's has been racially discriminatory against his advertising, his media company. He owns the Weather Channel as well as Byron Allen Media and another
Yeah, he did
other
pretty good
media
for the
company.
nerd that used to come on in the 70s.
Right. Or in the middle. Well, when I was younger, it was a late night and they would just talk about the movies that were coming out and
Yeah.
stuff, and they do interviews. So that's how I knew him from. So I didn't even know he had all this money, but well, goddamn, good for him. So yeah, he's suing McDonald's for a lot of money, and yeah, the judge just pushed it through, violating of the Civil Rights Act of 1866 by not allowing the media group to really franchise off of McDonald's advertisement. In the black community, they only give about $5 million. Their budget, however, is like a lot, way more
Yeah.
than 5 million.
Yeah, but it's not surprising because even the franchise owners have issues with them.
Yeah, that is true.
And I got a score to settle with them anyway because they quarter pounders. I don't know what they did to them burgers. Because them
I
burgers,
thought you,
it's not even meat anymore. They're not a quarter pound. It's like some kind of tofu shit or something. I don't know what the hell that is. But I
I
stopped
thought you
eating
was
that.
gonna talk about their damn coffee because they still make it hot as hell. But
Oh, it's scalding people.
yeah, they actually have a budget of advertising of 1.6 billion. So we're looking at 1.6 billion, and all they give to black-owned media companies is 5 million
Hmm.
to do advertisements. And we spend the most. A lot of people send their
Yeah.
kids to McDonald's and all of the kind of stuff. And all their commercials, when they do have them on
Yeah,
certain channels,
they're
are
aimed
geared
for the
towards
city.
yeah, are geared towards us. So yeah, good for him. And so hopefully you'll be able to.
Nuggets for everybody. Nuggets for everyone.
Yeah, right. Hopefully
Especially that
everybody
nugget that looks like somebody's foot. But it
not looks like somebody's foot. No
has like
comment.
that little boot thing going.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
You know that's not real
Uh,
chicken, right?
that's a whole nother. Don't be an Oprah and start that shit.
Ugh.
Because
Well, I ain't got no money. I ain't lying to you. I sure ain't got no Oprah money.
Right. So early on, last week before, well, I think it was after we had went off, Joe Biden had signed a bill that eliminated the civil statutes. I would definitely want to talk about that. The statute of limitation for child sex abuse victims. So basically, what this does is usually it was a time frame. You either you had to wait 10 years till the you had to wait 10 years for some civil litigation and things to happen during the time of your abuse, like after, if you went afterwards, and you'd only, I think it was like 28, was it 28 years old? I think the cap was like 28 or something like that. But this way it eliminates it, so you can, you can press charges or go after someone civilly at any moment. So anytime you are ready to go after your attacker or what have you, you have every right to do so, which I think is a good thing. There's a lot of children that have been violated. So
yeah, because at an earlier age, you're not mature enough or ready to deal with it,
right,
until you become an adult,
right,
and you may have other things that you need to work through before you can get to that point of even recognizing that you might have been a victim.
right. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good thing. I never understood why they had on sexual assault statutes
Limitation
in the
statutes.
first
Yeah.
place. Makes no sense.
Yeah. It's a trauma. So how are you going to tell somebody to deal with
how
their
to get
trauma? Like, hurry up and get over it so you could sue. If you're not going to, if you're not going to get over
you only
it,
got a year left,
Yeah.
that type of thing. How are you going to do that?
Yeah, that is crazy. So them Catholic priests better watch out.
Oh, all these motherfuckers be peeping over their shoulders,
Right.
because the people that you least expect, you're hearing all kinds of foolishness about.
Right.
Yeah,
that is
it's like,
crazy.
oh my goodness, he's such a nice guy. Yeah, he sure was.
Right.
All 30 of them, he was such a nice guy.
Jesus, it is so crazy. Also, we meant to talk about this last week, and my apologies for missing it. But Nebraska, as if any of us live in Nebraska, but if there may be some of us that live in,
I was going to say, are there some of us even there?
In Nebraska, cops have been using Facebook messages to investigate any alleged illegal abortions. So, in other words, just because it's happening in Nebraska, don't think that it may not happen in your neck of the woods. The cops have used Facebook for other things. So I wouldn't be surprised if in a particular state where abortion has now become illegal, that they are not looking at not just Facebook, but other parts of social media outlets.
Who would post that kind of stuff
to catch people. But I don't know who's actually saying, "Hey, y'all, good morning. I'm about to go, have my abortion today." I mean,
or are they even investigating? Say, if somebody loses a baby,
right,
but do people? Well, I guess they do. I guess they do. They advertise. I guess the grief,
but
or they paying that much attention to people's conversations. But I don't know.
I just feel like, how is it your place to kind of determine how, like, even if I say that I've lost a child, so now you're going to investigate how that child died, you know what I'm saying, to see if that was an abortion, and then if so, bring me up on charges. Like, I mean, it's going really far and beyond.
It's big brotherish.
Yeah, the level of like privacy. It's really crazy. Like, I just don't understand.
Well, it's not really not too private when you volunteer the information over these platforms like that.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
So you just have to be careful about what you say and who you say it to.
Mm. Yeah. It's crazy that we're putting stuff like that
You know,
on
that,
the
I mean, but they post. I've seen some stuff that I would never post. You
Yeah,
just
me too.
too
Yeah.
free with a lot of information.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to know how your pap smear went. Everything checked out a-okay. I'm ready
Right.
to go.
Yeah.
Here comes the weekend. But
You
anyway,
can definitely keep that to yourself.
yeah, it's a lot of stuff. They just have to, and especially the millennium said they need to understand you gotta keep a lot of this shit to yourself.
Yeah. Everything is not meant
Uh,
for
yeah, that or
the
in text
masses.
form because they can use anything against you now.
Yeah. Let's see. So this came across, and I just briefly read this today. I don't know why I missed this, but I thought this was pretty interesting that 5 states have slavery on the ballot this election year. Like, no, November of 2022, slavery is on the ballot for midterms in places like Alabama, Louisiana, Oregon, Tennessee, and Vermont.
Now I was surprised to hear Vermont.
Yeah, right. Because they're like fully abolished slavery. But I'm like, what? Um, they're pushing, I mean, as they always have, of course, incarceration, uh, prison, incarceration, kind of perpetuating the cycle and using that as a way to reintroduce servitude. Uh, it makes no sense to me. Of course, as we know about the prison pipeline to keep this stuff functioning and things moving, these prisons was making tons of money, these private prisons. And I think this is just another way for them to continue to, one, make sure that they always keep a steady body count in these prisons. So, and I think, of course, they're going to do nothing but dress it up, talk about the crime and uh, victims of certain crimes would be involved or be chosen for these particular types of incarceration. But the reality is, people are still people. Granted, they may have done some evil and heinous things, but they're still humans, and they have right to decency in some way, even in that situation. And to reintroduce or try to reinvigorate slavery to a new generation, I think is absolutely crazy. But that's where we are with, not wanting to talk about the evils of a past that you just want to overlook. So then everything else is kind of, made nice, and it's not that bad. Slavery is slavery, regardless of how you look at it. Do you have any thoughts you want to add to
Yeah,
that one?
they're just keeping the door open.
Yeah. Well,
Pretty much they're just keeping the door open
I mean,
because
I'm not
they can dress it
surprised.
up and call it something else. I mean, because it should have been, if slavery was abolished, it should have been abolished and
Period. Right.
straight across the board, no exceptions. It's done. It's done. You don't have each state giving their interpretation of what it is.
Right.
And
Well,
what it
prison was always the opening door anyway to
yeah.
slavery to begin
Mhm.
with. So that's why when I read this, I said, well, that's what they're doing now. So
Mhm.
they just want to actually make it to where in which they can then not really pay the inmates, which they don't already.
Yeah, they
You know
don't.
what I'm saying? So it's
What?
like, are we legalizing? Are we just gonna make this a legal thing and just think, well, because they're criminals or because they've done horrible things, but we already know as a people we are incarcerated far more than
Of
the
course,
whites and
because
others.
they don't rehabilitate, and
Right.
we definitely know that.
Yeah.
You send them back, you send them in for a petty crime, and you you actually build a super criminal.
Right. Yeah.
Somebody who's more capable, because that's the only thing that they're going to learn is how the loopholes and how to move throughout the system.
Yeah.
And when they know they need to be in there learning how to read or something like that, or maybe being on some medication,
Mm.
a lot of everybody has a lot of issues, but
Yeah.
that way they'll always have a surplus of bodies in rotation.
Mm.
And especially when you're using laws that are over 100 years old.
Years old.
That's the shit that eats me up. It's like,
Yeah.
it's our interpretation. No, that's your
Right.
interpretation of that shit that should have been either abolished or updated
Right.
in plain English.
Right.
No
Yeah.
one speaks that English anymore.
Right. And not even the society has changed. So
Of course.
therefore the law should be rewritten to reflect
Hmm.
how society is today,
Yes,
not
yeah.
how society once was, because we weren't considered part of society back then. But on to some Karen news. So we got two Karen stories that I've talked to, well, one I have in the newsreel thing, but the other one I didn't talk about. But of course we have talked about this one. I'll do the big one first. Jenny Thomas, she has agreed to meet with the committee January 6th for an interview. I'm not holding my breath because 9 times out of 10, I'm sure that thing will do a private interview, so nobody will be able to pinpoint what she said, when she said, how she said it. It will just be speculatory onto what she may have said and the things she may have shared. I'm not really going to give it too much energy. I think she should be thrown in jail anyway, because being the wife of a Supreme Court justice and doing the type of stuff that she's already been red-handed in doing is enough.
You can't get any more guilty.
And it is enough. Text message threads and everything. The only person that was trying to cover it up was your dumb husband. And he and he got overruled. So it's just like, how stupid can y'all be? Like, you deserve to go to jail. If you can't send your husband to jail, you can go. You can go in his place. Good luck. Have fun. It could be orange is the new black, and you could really be the president of, the Anglo-Saxon ward. I don't know what to tell you, but she could do that. And then in this other Karen news, I don't know if you guys remember the Karen of Central Park, or Central Park Karen, that was harassing.
That choked the dog for all you animal lovers.
That was choking the dog as she was scared for her life because this black man who was a bird watcher told her to put her dog on a leash because it's illegal to walk your dog without a leash in the city, especially in Central Park. So she winds up suing her job because she claims that they called her a racist.
You are a racist.
Because they basically said, and this was Franklin Templeton, a federal management company, a financial management company that she used to work for, that they do not tolerate racism. And she was terminated on site, no questions asked. They did, the proper thing in saying that it would be investigated. Next day, meaning after they viewed the video clip of her,
and she gave a stellar performance.
Right. They terminated her ass. She sued the company because she felt like she was wrongly accused of being a racist. And,
well, you are.
Yeah. And newsflash, the judge told her, it's here in plain English. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You don't have any supporting documents to support that you are not either this person or you don't think like this, from the information that we have gathered from this video, from other information as far as tweets and other things that she has written, back in her past that she thought maybe she erased or it wasn't, whatever. So they denied it, and her ex job won. So
she in the wrong damn place to be unemployed.
That's I mean, I just didn't even
New
think
York
that.
City.
I just didn't even think. How do you think you have a leg to stand on and accuse them of calling you racist when you did the action?
She obviously did not watch that video.
No, she was there, but she wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Like you was there, but nobody was home because you.
I
And
had
not
out
only
of
did
out
you
of body experience.
right, not only did you do that, you screamed and hollered like this man was attacking you to then get more, try to build people up to have the police come out and do whatever. Hey, what's going on, Lexion? Nice to see you, sir. So yeah, I don't have no sympathy for her. I just don't. Sorry for you. You should be more mindful of the things you do, and maybe she needs some diversity training. Maybe she needs some goddamn diversity training, because her white ass, and that's just privilege for your ass, that you feel the need to sue your job because they terminated you because
She
of
got
your
she
racist
got
actions,
big balls, okay?
and you
Big
work
balls.
for a
They're gonna make
financial
you're gonna make them
company
keep you
that
because of something
has
that you did.
that has other other accounts with black people, other people of color, and you think that they're just supposed to keep you around and do what? Protect you because it's Benjamin Franklin at the front helm of the picture of the company? Girl, go have several white tier seats in the back. And
Oh, and you
yeah,
know she turned those on, right?
I'm sure she
We
did.
definitely saw Karen at work.
I'm
How
sure she
how
did.
how you could see the gears
Just a
just
turning.
grinding in
Yeah.
her head.
But I'm just trying to figure out, even the lawyers or whomever said, yeah, no, you have a case here. Who told you this?
Somebody who's getting paid.
Right. Yeah. I guess they're getting paid regardless because they taking her money. But it's just like somebody actually told you, no, this is a good avenue to go because they fired you with prejudice. How? What prejudice? It's a video. It's not like it was word of mouth. You know what I'm saying? That's you. That's you strangling your dog. That's been confirmed.
Mhm.
That's enough. And not to mention, they're a private company.
They can do what they wanna do.
So, right. So if they felt that your image and what you did was beyond the pale for them, they fired you.
Now, was New
It's
York
okay.
a at will state?
No, no, it's not an at will state. However, the private companies, they kind of work in
Mhm.
that mind frame. So they will fire your ass in a minute. They may give you you collect unemployment, but as far
Yeah.
as they will let you go in a hot second if
Oh,
they
it all
feel like,
depends on
oh,
how they
oh,
feel too. They might throw a monkey wrench in that
yeah, yeah,
shit.
but that too, but they can because there's video here. You know what I'm saying? All
Yeah.
the company has to say is we don't condone that. We have this, we have that, we have these clients, and we cannot promote that. And there's no way we can support even her leaving after we terminate her to support her moving forward. And that's probably why she's suing, because they denied her unemployment when she was like, okay, well, you fired me, I'm unemployment. And I was like, no, you can't get that. You can't get that, girl. You violated the
Yeah,
handbook
you
code.
did that.
Yeah, you
You did
violated the
that.
handbook code. You ain't just, you know, mutter something under your breath. You did all that. And then on top of that, you're choking your dog. So then if we're not even looking at, we're not even looking
She
at,
probably had it was probably more harsh because she choked the dog and not because
yeah,
she almost got somebody killed.
right. And then that too, you know how they are. They care more about the animals than they
Animal
actually care
first.
about
Mhm.
a person.
Yeah,
So
'cause
they probably was looking,
that's all you kept hearing about was the dog. We're gonna
that's what I'm
they're gonna
saying.
have to find her, they're gonna have to
They probably was
rehome her.
looking at the dog like, oh my God, she choked her dog. But yeah, she just tried to have a man killed by the police by lying on him.
And
Which
he's a
is,
fool because he didn't push the subject. He didn't prosecute.
don't even get me started on him.
Oh,
That's why they need to make
he's a
these
soft
Karen
ass
laws.
he's a
Yeah,
soft ass bitch. You
yeah,
watching Birds, all right.
yeah.
I'd have fried her ass up. We'd have
That's
saw
it.
Bird.
That's it. She would have been going from one courtroom to the next because I would have sued the
Right.
shit out of her. And that's another reason why this Karen law, which is prominent in like uh, San Francisco right now, needs to actually be nationwide, where people are held accountable for these false
That's right.
calls on the police for people, quote unquote, attacking or harassing them. These people need to start going to jail,
Hmm.
start paying some fines, and really, being charged. So,
Yeah, don't have the satisfaction of breaking foot off in their ass.
oh,
Getting those pockets and get
yeah,
what you can
right,
get.
exactly, because she definitely deserves that. But there was something I couldn't find the story again because it blacked out. But um, Mark Meadows, dumbass, sent out Mark Meadows is actually not Mark Meadows. What am I saying? The other guy.
Oh, the one Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
He's the second. He's the GOP's minority leader of the House.
leader. Hmm.
He had sent, I can't think of his name right now, but real quick on his dumbness, he had sent Nancy Pelosi by accident. Uh, he had sent her a GOP kind of agenda that they was doing, basically talking about the stuff that they wanted to do for the midterms to take back the House. Mitch the bitch, this is crazy, to take back the House, and yeah, it got exposed. And of course, Nancy exposed it by acting like, "Oh, look what this is." But anyway, I talk about her just basically saying that the Secret Service knew that there was threats to Nancy Pelosi days before the insurrection, and they didn't do nothing.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's
much
crazy.
in a nutshell. Yeah. First of all, she is the third in line to the presidency. How the hell do you not do that? And that's why I say the law enforcement, um, they have a very twisted kind of thing here. And you keep ignoring it and acting like it don't exist, but they are very much in that pocket of Trump. There's a lot of them in there, and they're at the highest levels of government. So had this thing actually worked that they was trying to do, you don't think the mofos that was supposed to be protecting her and the vice president would have turned on their ass in a minute? And we would have been looking at a whole different kind of situation?
Okay,
I just,
I found the link for that one. That's the very last post. You can actually see their agenda, what they wanted to do, the GOP.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. So that was crazy. And I was just like, what? And we're not going to hold these people accountable? You still have Secret Service agents declining to speak to the committee? Why?
I don't see anything happening. I really
I,
don't.
it's crazy. To me, this whole thing would be pointless if all you're doing is putting this stuff out here and then waiting for the people to vote and go, we gave you the information, now make your decision. We cannot depend on these people to make a decision because they don't care. Because a lot of these people feel like it don't affect them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't mind, them going into the Capitol and trashing it and defecating and doing all types of shit. That's okay. Because let us go out there and be peaceful and do anything, and you're sending the National Guard and ready to kill us on sight. So I'm just not understanding. But that's white tears for you. So I guess it is what it is. But that's just some crazy bullshit. And I think that was it. Also, because speaking of Florida,
Dang, man, I thought we was gonna get away. No Florida, no Texas. Or is this a good one because of the storm? I don't know.
it's the storm. So pray, of course, for the people of Florida. Make sure they get
Definitely.
out of harm's way. I do have a few family members. My niece is in Florida. Actually, I texted her today, and also, of course, Edith and his husband. They're in Florida, so I was just making sure that they're okay, and they need to get out of
Yeah,
Dodge.
he's more on the East Coast, right?
He's on the Clearwater side. He's actually in the little Gulf area where usually sometimes those hurricanes like to sit and gain speed and stuff and all that kind of stuff. So definitely want to make sure he's okay. And for those who may be in the line of this, don't be trying to be a hero. If you can leave, then leave.
Yeah, just get the hell out of there.
Yeah. So other than that, of course, prayers go out to the people.
And don't pay your rent.
Right. Yeah.
You better hold on to that
you can
money.
hold
Wait,
on to that money to
wait till
get
you
the
have some
hell out
place
of
to come back
Dodge,
to.
right? To get the hell out of Dodge. However, on the flip side of that, the Satan, now this part I can't. He quickly called Joe Biden and the federal government to ask for emergency aid. Hurricane ain't even hit yet. It was still over in the Caribbean doing whatever it was doing before he got on the phone to call the government and ask the government for emergency aid. So it's funny to me how he's so quick to ask for aid and ask for welfare, but then at the next breath talk about how deplorable and disgusting the government is, and that he doesn't need any aid or anything of that nature. It's just pure BS, and I don't see how the people don't see straight through it. It's just like with Brett Favre. Oh, he's a football Hall of Famer, but he's using welfare funds to build a
soccer stadium,
a volleyball stadium. His daughter plays volleyball for the fucking school. Now, this will be a good question too. Are you paying for her education, or y'all doing the same little scheme that y'all was doing, getting y'all children scholarships to basically not pay for school, and you have the money 3 and 4 times over to pay for the school?
It makes you look into it.
This is what I'm saying. But these are the
sure
same.
You'll hear something later on about that.
But these are the same people that talk about people being on assistance and welfare queen and all this other kind of stuff, but it's okay when you do it.
Queen.
You know what I'm saying? You're the biggest queen of them all. Big old white dusty looking thing, and you sit up here using.
But he's always been problematic.
So. Yeah, of course. But when you white, you right, and if you can play football and the good old American game, because that's the only sport that they really had people still that look like them that they could cheer on. That's why they so gun-ho. The only thing they got to hold on to now is baseball. And that's starting to look a little,
So I wonder if his name is going to be on that stadium.
Right. The Brett Favre Stadium.
As a donator.
As a donation. Please.
Knowing damn well that
you should put all the welfare recipients. You should put all the welfare recipients of the state on the goddamn thing. And they should have season tickets to watch them lazy ass volleyball players play. They just whatever event you hold there, everybody should have season tickets. Whoever receives a welfare check from the state, because they paid for that fucking stadium. I mean, the shit don't even make sense.
The poorest state in the union.
It makes no sense.
West
None whatsoever. It's just bad as that.
And you're stealing for a stadium.
Just as bad as that fat ass white man. It's
which one is
the governor? The one that's going back and forth with the mayor of Jackson.
Oh yeah,
over the water. Like crazy. I mean, you're in charge of the state. Doesn't really even give a goddamn matter, what the mayor did not do. That is your state. Jackson, that's not the mayor of Jackson because Jackson happens to have a large population of black folks and you don't want to deal with that. No, when you opted for the seat, that's the state. So whatever is wrong with it, you got to fix it, buddy. So get off your fat white ass and do it.
Now remember, he made that remark Friday,
right?
That he was glad that he wasn't there. He would rather be any place but there,
which is the capital state where you have to be. Well,
he definitely showed his hand by first of all,
right,
not fixing or correcting the mistakes that other governors had made by not doing the repairs, allocating the money, sending the money back.
Yeah.
But then when what a slap in the face when you can park a water tanker truck in front of your residence. Somebody should have went and turned those valves on and
turn that valve on.
That's all the damn water out in the gutter.
That's it.
That's crazy.
What they should be doing. But yeah,
how you doing, Miss B-Town Hester?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. I'm sorry, I'm just ranting and looking in other ways. But let's see. Oh yeah, this was a story we talked about offline, I guess, when you sent it to me and then you asked me the question. But America's Christian majority is
Oh, okay.
on the track to end. Um, which I mean makes sense. That's why they keep pushing. This is a Christian nation. This is a
Bye,
Christian nation.
Christians.
This is a
Bye.
Christian nation.
Hate to see you all go.
I mean, it's just ridiculous
They're
that,
problematic.
that
They're problematic.
yeah, yeah,
You sit up here. Oh my God, I hate the whole fucking religion thing. Okay,
yeah.
it's
They
like
are
a
really they
them
are
and
really
their
extreme.
religion's better than whatever. And
Yeah.
goodbye, bye Christmas, bye.
Well, you're not a fan of Christmas anyway. But yeah, I just think all of it is problematic, especially when you get to a lot of these, you know, evangelical Christians talking about straight up murdering people who are not in line with their viewpoints, like
Well,
people
that's
of the
because
LGBT and
mhm, but
so
that's
on
the
and so forth.
man's
But that's the
agenda.
main thing that they go for,
Mhm.
right? But
Yeah.
then you got a lot of these closeted
Hmm.
church folks who
Yeah.
are pushing this, but
Oh, they
it's
pushing it because we've seen clips.
right,
There was a
right.
lot of pushing.
They pushing and taking and
Mm,
catching all
yeah,
kinds of stuff.
you
But
know,
yeah, so I
getting
just
baptized.
yeah
Ah!
with the special sauce, and it ain't dipping. Okay,
Mm,
it ain't dipping. But yeah, this is crazy. I just think um, they have taken this kind of mantra and
for
took
real.
it to a place that it is utterly disgusting. Like nothing of this is nothing of God. I think
Mhm,
first of all, they always talk about the founding fathers. The founding fathers ran from England to have religious freedom.
mhm.
That's what
Yeah,
a
just ask the
Protestant
queen. She
is,
was
a
there.
protest. Right. Dig the queen up. She no,
She was
that's
there.
why
She'll
she's the
tell you.
head. Right. That's why she's the head of the church, or was the head of the church, because they did not follow the Roman church told them you can't divorce. And that
Mhm,
motherfucker said, yes, I can. Okay, I can. All right, let me just start beheading these bitches. And when you get tired of watching me cut these bitches' heads off,
that's right.
then you'll change your mind. So, chop, 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 chop.
They literally found a loophole.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then it was like, okay, just you could leave, just leave the church or whatever. Okay, fine, I'll be the head of the church my damn self. The- and then we get the American part of Christianity. Oh yeah, just be slaves, be good to your masters. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? And it's just like, what the hell are we
When you're
doing?
really good, we'll let you go to heaven and have a
Right.
French
We let
fry.
you go to heaven and sit at the gates while we in heaven actually having a good
Mhm.
time. And y'all can sit outside and look at the pretty gates. Like you can't even make this up. And the fact that they spew so much hatred and everything is in the name of
And
Jesus
that's
and
the
the
whole
name of
thing.
Christ and all this other
Mhm.
kind of stuff. And God doesn't like this and God doesn't like this. How the hell do you know what
You
God
know.
doesn't like? Because
Mhm.
if God didn't like it, evidence is proven that if he didn't like it, he got rid of it.
That's right.
If we going by the good book, I'm just saying there was a flood. Everybody else drowned, but Noah and his kids. And don't even get me started on how did they populate the world if everybody else drowned and if they
And
wasn't
there were black mermaids.
just absolute craziness. I can't. I'm done. Uh, yeah. So then I think that was it. I think I got everything. I think I did. And then so now, yeah, I think I'm just going over everything. I think I got. Yeah, I got that fat thing. I can't stand her. I'm sorry, but I can't. Jenny Thomas makes my skin crawl.
Uh,
Just going through everything, making sure I got everything, make sure I didn't miss nothing. Oh yeah, Lady G, good old Lindsey Graham. Let me get on that diva for a minute. So I know I talked about it last week, but yeah, he's really pushing for this abortion kind of national abortion, which basically would wipe away any kind of provisions for abortion. Like usually it was the woman's health or the health of the baby, all that kind of stuff. At this point, they are pushing it don't matter. They're going to either make you have the baby, or even if you die having the baby, it is what it is. They don't care. And the fact that this is being pushed in a midterm year and people aren't standing up, like I really don't care what your political lining is. But as far as somebody controlling how you or what you choose to do with your body, I think it's way beyond the pale. And just for that alone, people should start looking to vote elsewhere. I don't see it. I really can't see it. There's no reason you're demanding to make people have children, even if it would affect their lives, and even with cases of rape, incest, all that. That's just, you just basically having the woman just sit there, spread wide eagle, and just be like Sealy. Well, it sounds like he going to the toilet on you. That's what it feel like. I mean, that's what we just we it's color purple. It's the belt buckle on the headboard, and he just going to town, and you just laying there.
I'm just surprised that there just has not been more violence. That's the thing that's. Are they saving it?
That's well, you know, they're not gonna really go ape shit. They're not gonna go ape shit because they secretly don't mind it because they really know that it's not gonna affect them. It is, but it's not. Like that's their whole thing about this. It's gonna affect them, but it's not. So what they'll do is they'll get angry like they did the last time and put on their little pussy hats and walk around. Women, that's my right. It's my body. And then when it's time to vote for the shit, though, they'll secretly
they'll do a Trump.
Right. And then when the numbers come back and everybody, what happened? What happened? Then they go, well, when they start breaking down the dynamics of who voted, what race voted, and you get to see, well, white women voted for this an enormous amount. And then they start, well, no, that's not what we meant. We just, we want to make sure that there's
you lie. You
right.
lie.
Right.
You lie.
Right. You lie. So
it's on paper and we know who you are.
This is what it is. And at the end of the day, this is too important to sit down. And the last thing I'm going to say before we move on to other stuff and movies and news and all that other hot topic stuff is this: Black men, whether you watch me or not, or you watch on the flip side, cut this shit out. This is far too important to allow these kind of head of the household mantras, things that a lot of Black men, and to be honest, you aren't the head of the household anyway because you don't even take care of a lot of your responsibilities. And those of you that do, commend you. But for the ones that don't, like to talk the shit about what the Democratic Party doesn't do for the Black community and so on and so forth, you could save it. My whole point in this is to say this: Stacey Abrams, you have Raphael Warnock. There is no reason, none whatsoever, that race is as close as it is with Herschel Walker. Absolutely not. That doesn't make any sense. And anybody who's even thinking about that, you're basically insulting your own intelligence as a Black person. That is ridiculous. That man can sit there and hubble, and it's okay. That doesn't make any sense. That's basically telling us what they think about us and how they view us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's crazy to me that's even a discussion to be had. That man needs to go sit down somewhere. He needs to be checked for head injuries because I swear to God, he's got that mental.
He could barely form a sentence.
I can't even stomach it. I really can't stomach it. And as far as people not wanting to vote for Stacey Abrams because she's a quote unquote woman, I think that is absolutely ridiculous that she's even behind in the polls when this man has stolen that election from her once.
Mm-hmm.
And he's on track to do it again. So I'm really just not this whole notion of women aren't able to govern. Where is this coming from? Because clearly, if that was the case, there's been a lot of men who have been in power, whether they've been white or Black, and you tell me how it turned out. I ain't heard nobody screaming about how great it was yet.
You can't get a more qualified person than her. She is on point. I've never heard anybody like that on point about everything. And you have to
Everything.
black, you have to overachieve on everything anyway.
This is what I'm saying. You put it out there, so then okay, she overachieves and does it. It's the same Barack story. It's like, okay, so now you do it. So now everything is, I'm gonna find something. I'm gonna find something. I'm gonna find something. And it's like, well, what is there to find? She is the best candidate for the job. She actually got more votes out there that he tried to purge. It is proven in court that he purged, not even tried, that he purged over 300,000 votes. Purged them. That means took them out of the rolls, because at the same time when he's running for the governor, he is overseeing the election. He didn't step down. He didn't, give it to a deputy while he was running and focusing on his campaign. He did them both at the same time simultaneously. So if you don't think that
that is not the norm. You are supposed to step aside.
But this is the reason why a person like Trump would automatically, it would be a shock to him that he didn't win Georgia. Why would it not? You don't think he knew? Of course he knew. So he automatically knew he was going to win Georgia. That was going to be a hands down. So when he didn't, that's why he kept pressuring. Because they already know. But, what he should have done is said, well, Kemp, you did it. So that's what I'm waiting. I'm waiting on that recording. Kemp, why didn't you do what you did? Why didn't you do that for me? That's what I'm waiting on. Which I think Trump has it. And I think if they pressure him enough, or they go, okay, no, you really going to jail? He going to tell. And they go, he's going to disappear just like that other dude did with that black book.
Is Jeffrey
Epstein. Yeah. So I don't know. I just think it's just totally crazy. But yeah, just please, like this whole shit of the what have Democrats done? What have any of them done? Let's be very clear. What have any of them done, really? First of all, you have to be in the system or be active in it to actually get stuff done. You do. We do. We have to, because we don't have that political capital to really just sit back and go, well, I'm gonna just wait this out. No, you don't. You don't, because the more you sit and wait it out, the less it's gonna be. You're not gonna be able to do much of anything. Trust me, they're gutting your right to vote as we speak, state by state.
And check your status. Make sure you check your status.
Right.
You don't want any surprises.
Regularly. Don't wait till November.
Yeah, do it now. Very simple.
Check your status and make sure, just like you check your status on other things, which you should know your status, know your voting status. Know your voting status.
Boy, you were way out on that one, didn't you?
Yeah, I was like, that's important too. Just so we're clear.
No surprises.
Right. Nobody wants no surprises. Right. Gotcha, bitch. For real. That is a God that you don't get rid of. Okay. So don't nobody want that. But anyway. Don't nobody want any of that. But anyway. So real quick, if you happen to be looking for me someplace and you're like, oh, where can I find you to send you this or drop this, or I saw this story, you can always find me in one of these places here. All right. So we're back, and hopefully, you send stuff, but don't send no raunchy stuff, because no, it's not the type of party. But so now we get to the segment where we can kind of let our hair down, or some of us, and talk about news, entertainment, and movies, and all the other stuff in the Who Said That. And of course, sometimes it deals with some YouTube stuff too. So let's get into our segment of Who Said That real quick.
Hey, who said that? Who said that? Who said that? Who
what I said. All right, all
Mhm.
right, all right, all right. So this is the more relaxed part of it. I promise I won't be on my soapbox being all political. Uh,
The lies you tell.
Whatever. You don't know me. So first, first, whatever to say about. Okay, let's just talk. Let's just talk about it. So I've been watching. I've watched. I'm not even saying watching. I've watched the Jeffrey Dahmer series by Ryan Murphy. Um, I see the point where it could be traumatizing for the victim families. I get that, but I also have watched the ID Network and seen it. I've watched other true crime stories and have watched the documentaries about it. So I'm really not understanding the that part of it a lot in a sense. And being that too is a new generation that did not know that these things have happened. Um, that that this type of monster was out here. And although he wasn't the only one, let's be clear, there was a black man in Atlanta that was doing the same things to black men. Uh, that I'm sure if Ryan Murphy had his way, he probably already got the rights to that as well. But that was happening around about the same time. So uh, I was young when this whole Dahmer thing happened. I mean, I wasn't that young, but I was young. I was in elementary school, exiting, but I was watching it, hearing my parents talk about it, but I wasn't really like really engaged in it. So actually watching this and thinking back, like, oh, I remember, I remember this, I remember that. It brought everything full circle. One, I must say, Niecy Nash, hands down, girl, give her the Emmy because
Oh
her
yeah, she
her
played the hell out of that role.
the hell out of it. I loved her in it. I loved her. She captured the essence of that woman wholeheartedly. And I like
Yes, because we all know that neighbor, and yes, I
what?
am becoming that neighbor. I'm that
Yeah,
motherfucker.
yeah.
Who
I
are
was that
you?
neighbor too. Yeah,
Uh,
and you gotta go. Bye.
mhm.
I don't care. But other than that, to get to experience the victims. I didn't know a lot about the victims. I read about it briefly, but I didn't know a lot about the victims. And it brings a more personal uh, invite to the victims and the families of these victims that we may not have known because it was so, kind of more emphasis on the things he did and how he did them and
No,
what
and
he
that
was doing with body parts and all this other kind of stuff than it was about the actual victims, that they were human beings, they were people, some of which who were looking for love and thought that he loved them, and that whole kind of situation. But um yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, granted, I'm glad it wasn't as gory as a Ryan Murphy uh situation would be with all the other uh American Horror Story type situation. But I mean, I enjoyed it. I didn't really have an issue with it. But your thoughts, sir?
yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, as
They
you would.
uh, oh, you just full of it tonight, boy. Anyhow,
Right.
yeah, I remember it well.
Mhm.
Just they did not go into the details. I was surprised that they actually showed one of now whether or not that was the actual photo of the young man and the pose
Oh
where he
yeah.
was like the crab, what the crab, what the crab walk is, right?
Mhm,
Kind of
mhm.
distorted or
Yeah.
was it torsion, contorted,
Contorted.
contorted.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, I don't know if that was the actual photo, but
Mm.
they did have other photos of. what the poses he was actually putting the bodies in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the reason why they did not go into detail about the victims is because during that time they were gay men,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't go into details as far as the nightclubs or the
Right.
bathhouses, that
Mm-hmm.
type of thing. They just kind of shied away from it, so they really didn't give the victims a face,
Mm.
which they should have.
Right.
um, I did like that they actually humanized a lot of the victims,
Mm-hmm.
especially the deaf young man.
Yeah.
Um,
Everybody says that was their hardest episode.
huh, it was, and the only reason why he lasted as long as he did is because he was looking for love.
Mm.
Um, but the guy was he's a predator. He's
Mm.
sick,
Yeah.
and he had been sick for years.
Right.
I fault his father because his father um could have something a long time ago.
Right.
He was kind of, it's not my fault, but he's my son's a little strange, but I don't think he needs help, and it's part of that stigma of uh not getting professional help. I'd have had his ass put away,
Yeah. I mean, I just didn't
especially
understand.
after mama, because his mother had mental issues.
Right. 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 Well, I mean, he blamed it on the prenatal or the drug she was on for her
Hmm.
depression.
And that's
That
one of the reasons why I would have had him, and he'd have been at somebody's hospital,
yeah.
because
Well
you
then.
never know what type of side effects
Hmm.
that they would find later on as he
Right.
became a young man.
Yeah.
It may not have showed itself, when he was a kid,
Hmm.
starting school. He's like a little strange, that
Yeah.
type of thing. But to
Well.
actually have that study of what those medications would actually do to you as an
Mhm.
adult.
Well, I watched the Oprah interview with the father recently. That happened years back because Oprah was looking like homie Oprah, not Oprah
Oh,
Winfrey that everybody knows now. And he was saying that he never really paid attention to anything that Jeffrey was doing because he looked at it like he was that way when he was a child. And so none of it ever alarmed him that the stuff
that was
that
pretty much
Jeffrey,
normal.
right, the stuff that Jeffrey was into, he used to be into as a kid. So it didn't, and some of the stuff that they claim Jeffrey was really into as a child that he told, I guess, the doctors that he was into, and the stuff that excited him about like gutting a fish and all that kind of stuff. He said he didn't learn about that till the trial.
Hmm.
None of that stuff he knew about. But yeah, he had been killing folks in high school. I said, well, goddamn,
Yeah.
that's white privilege for your ass. Because he killed that boy, chopped him up, took his bones, scattered his bones around the whole goddamn yard.
Hmm.
Okay. So, yeah. And then the few times he did get in trouble for um, decent exposure and other things that he was caught doing with
Yeah,
other
at the
minors.
fair. Ah,
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
jacking it at the fair.
yeah, at
Yeah.
the fair, just a jacking his worker off, and he gets caught. And then uh, also that was the time when the one of the boys, well, he killed the one brother, but then the other brother was drugged and made it back home. The judge literally was like, "Oh, but you seem like a nice guy.
White privilege, and
Hopefully
that's
this doesn't
exactly what
happen
that
again.
was.
We're just gonna let you go." The court recorder was sitting there like, just say what, bitch? Like she literally stopped
Yeah, she stopped.
typing as the judge was like, "Well, we see here that you've done this, you exposed yourself, or you did this, but you look like a nice young man, and I'm gonna just give you a second chance." What do you mean? I didn't understand. I mean, and I didn't understand it, but I got it.
No, they protect
They protect him. Yeah,
their own,
yeah,
and
they do.
that's what they
Yeah,
do.
That's what they do constantly, which is always a problem. Even the scene where the one man was really drugged and made it out, but he was disoriented and naked, and they called the police, and the police literally was like, "Well, hey, what seems to be the problem?" And he's like, "Well, this is my boyfriend." And they're like, "You ain't gonna ask him how old he is? Like he's bleeding from the head." Oh,
Look,
well,
when the woman told him, this young boy, and she kept saying, "You see how old?" She could see,
yes,
and that's definitely a woman's thing.
thing, yeah,
Even though he was Laotian, this is
but
a young
young,
child.
right, right,
He is a child. Where do you see a 19-year-old?
right, right. She's like, "Do you
They
look
were
at
more
him?"
uncomfortable with the gay part.
Yeah,
See,
right,
that's what it was.
right,
That's
yeah.
what that was.
That's what that was, and they didn't even want to deal with it. It was like, just get this out of the sight, get this out of the street, and it's like, no, like this is crazy. This is a child. Yeah, and the fact that he's done this before with other children, even the one black guy who, the grandmother said he was like, "Oh no, he's just drunk, grandma. Go to bed." And she's like, "I will not. I'm gonna sit here and
Mhm.
till this young man wakes
Well,
up." And if
first of
he
all, grandma ain't want him in that house anyway.
right, she didn't want him in the house anyway. She
I
said,
never knew you had black friends,
"Right,
Jeffrey. What's
right,
this?
right.
I'm going to
I've
sit
never
right here because they steal."
right, right. I've never had a black person in my house ever.
Oh,
Uh,
but you know who the grandmother was? That
who?
was Mother Walton. You ever see the TV show The Waltons? That was the mother.
I've heard of it, but I haven't
They
seen it.
dug up they dug up a lot of old actors.
Oh, wow.
The second wife,
Yeah.
that was Molly Ringwald,
Really?
the redhead. Mm-hmm.
Shut up. I didn't even know. I gotta
Oh,
go back and look.
and
I didn't even notice.
now the deaf boy's mother. You know
Yeah,
who that was?
that was what's her name? Sha-
Charlene,
Charlene, yeah.
uh-huh,
Charmaine.
Charmaine from the
Yeah.
Cosbys.
To my Lance. I was like, that they got her looking old. But
Mhm.
yeah,
I know. I was like,
yeah.
God. I
I
was
didn't know
like,
who it was till she was sitting at the table and she said something and
she started
her
talking.
voice came out. And then I was like, oh, I know who
Yeah,
that
they
is.
they pulled out a lot of and the lawyer, the lawyer that bought all of his, I guess, stuff that was in his apartment.
Yeah, wasn't he the judge
No, he
or
was
the
a lawyer.
lawyer
He
of the
was a
case?
lawyer.
He was the actual
And
lawyer in the case.
he's done a lot of stuff. He's played a
Yeah.
lot. They put a lot of these old actors out for
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah.
But his the only reason why
Because
the
he was the lawyer too in the
oh
Garden
and
of
you
Good and
and,
Evil.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
yeah. And that boy, that's Dylan Birdside, the one that lived, that the
Yeah.
grandmother, Dylan
Mhm.
from Pose, that was
Yes,
him.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, the only reason why she wasn't going to let that boy just
Yeah.
say that because black steel, and
Right.
I don't want to. I would not be able to sleep through the night knowing that there was a black man sitting down here,
Right.
and a lot of that stuff that he did, they're doing today.
Yeah.
As far as the traffic, more of the trafficking part,
Mhm.
drugging people,
Yeah.
um, and a lot of the hookup. What did I say? The hookup generation. You just can't.
There's no
You
way.
got to be careful.
There's no way. And
You got
speaking
to
of
be
hookup generation, when that mofo opened the door and that whiff came on,
now.
why the
See,
fuck did you turn the fuck around? The fact that you was like, it's thinking here. Everybody's like, well, it smells in
you
here.
know, you know
There's
what?
no way.
No, you know what's real funny. That reminded me of one of the nightcaps. Remember, I asked you that question.
Yes. Yes. And I was like, I'm a stickler on smells. Like, it's
No,
no
that's
way.
right.
There's no way. As soon as you open that door and that whiff would have hit me, goodbye. I'm
If
not
you
sitting
know
in
you want to
here.
invite somebody back to your place, it better not meet you at the door.
There's no way you didn't smell it when the door opened. You ain't smell it in the hallway. I'm sure you did.
But not only that, just rotting flesh
Just,
in general has a distinct odor, and it's one of those odors that kind of
that
burns
they
and
don't.
grains,
Yes,
and
they
it never
don't. It
goes
does
away.
not leave you. Nope. Nope, never leaves. And the fact that I know what it smells like now, and
Mhm.
watching that, I'm just like, there's no way you you
That was
you.
crazy.
There's no way. There's no way. And the fact that she had to keep calling the landlord or calling somebody to about the smell until somebody actually did something, and then the man goes up to the vent and goes, "Oh yeah, it does stink." You don't smell like that hallway smells. I know that hallway's got the smell like
Oh, that
crazy.
whole yeah, and I'm surprised that none of the other tenants
Well, they said they did.
they complain, but
Right.
they weren't to the point maybe because she's right next door to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But still, in a building, unless they were all had their fans on exhaust
Yeah, that's
to
what I'm
pull
saying.
that
The
out,
fans, the
that type
AC
of
on,
thing.
but that just I'm talking about every time. Oh yeah, I just made some bad food. I just cooked some bad food. No, bitch,
Every day, every day. It's
that
just
shit was totally crazy.
that
Just
the noises you hearing people scream. Look,
screaming.
if I
Yeah,
gunshots don't bother me anymore. But if I
yeah,
hear somebody, a
scream.
scream or
Hell,
I'm
no,
up
like
and I'm moving about and I'm peeping out the window and out the
that's
door.
just.
Well, I'm not the window
And
because
I
somebody
and I
gonna.
can imagine the amount of police calls that were made, and they were just ignored because
Yeah, they should have actually said the number.
yeah,
I was curious
yeah,
about.
I really was too. I really was too. And
But
then the same old practices. Those police officers kind of get in trouble. Then they start calling because I was wondering who the hell is making these prank calls, and
yes,
they're
that
knowing all the
it took
information.
me a minute to figure out who that was because every time they would offer um the uh the young Laotian
Yeah.
father
Mm-hmm.
a certain amount of money,
Right.
they knew the amount of
Amount
money
of
and they
money.
and
Yep.
he would always answer the phone
Yep.
and they would say something to him and he would just I'm surprised that he had lost his mind
Yeah.
after that because it was already morning because it was the same exact guy that attacked his other son.
Son. Yeah. 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 I was like, how the hell you get both of them? Like that was just really like,
Well,
gee.
there was about 40 of them in the house,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
That's just,
they might have spoken English, and it might have prostituting,
yeah.
quick money.
It was just so sad. It was just like, and then just hear him talk about wanting to dominate people and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, but you have to drug them because you know good and goddamn well, if they weren't drugged, they'd probably handle your ass.
Yeah.
So I,
Well, that and the fact he wanted to make zombies.
yeah, like the hell. And then the ladies at work, people can be so insensitive. So did you really see any of the zombies? They were
Yeah, but you know
people,
what?
damn it.
They were like that back then too,
That's just crazy. Oh, so it only
because
mattered when
they weren't used to interacting with black people. They actually thought that black people lived like a totally separate life, what they see on TV, but they never had like real friends like that.
oh,
So they would actually ask you stuff like, "You actually watch BBC?" And it's like,
don't you, dummy? Like
uh,
idiot.
yeah. Oh,
Like
how do you know? They actually think that you live in like in a totally different. Well, back then, actually totally different world, unless they lived in the neighborhood, which not too
mm,
many of them did, but
right.
um those ones that lived out in the burbs that drove
Mm,
in the city and all the rest of that,
right.
wow, I hear the crime's really bad. It's like no,
Right.
all their information came off of TV.
TV. I get that.
Yeah, so
Well,
so it wouldn't be surprising for them to actually ask you a question
yeah.
like
So I
that.
guess they wasn't so concerned until OJ killed Nicole. Then it was like, oh, what did they
Oh
do?
yeah, boy, you can hear a pin drop, and all the black folk was like, "Yeah, but we knew that
What did
motherfucker
they
did it."
do? But yeah, this was so crazy. But I mean, if I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I definitely it's a watch. It's a good watch. I know episode 6 is pretty tough for some people, but
Mhm.
um it definitely just brings a human element that people were just out to have fun and live their lives and not um there wasn't a lot of judgment for people living their lives. They were a small community of people, so they knew each other. And if somebody ended up missing, they were really concerned about a friend that they hadn't seen around at the clubs or the bars or anything like that. It wasn't really all mainly about sex or whatever. They were really kind of like a family unit. They would go to the same
Yeah.
clubs and see each other after a while. And when they didn't see somebody that they would normally see, everybody got concerned.
But you have to remember too, it was during
The
the
time
height
of AIDS,
height of
yeah,
the AIDS
yeah,
epidemic.
that,
So many people were getting sick and disappearing because they had
right,
passed.
yeah,
That you just kind of kept track of, people, even
yeah,
if it was just the waitress or the waiter, you
hmm
know, uh, and you didn't see them for a length of
yeah,
time, because it was one of those things where somebody would get sick and
hmm
it was so fast, before you knew it, they were gone. When
right,
it may like within a month's period, because some
hmm
people didn't know their status at the
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah, very
But
true. But
it
just
that was crazy. That was really
yeah,
crazy.
that was the
But
very
then it seemed to be the time where all the nuts came out.
yeah, because what was the other one? The
John Wayne Gacy.
John Gacy in
Mhm.
Chicago. He started,
Yeah,
and
like
it
you
was
said, the
just
one
like
down in Atlanta.
right. And then the guy in Atlanta that was kind of sort of doing the same thing as Jeffrey Dahmer, but he was a black man killing other
Yeah.
black young men. And I'm not sure if they were all gay, but I know it was a lot of young children, young
Hmm.
male children, and some teenagers, and also some young adults. So it was a crazy time, very crazy.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it's just like now with the
yeah,
with the in the trans community,
yeah.
because it's such a marginalized group,
hmm
and they definitely, and especially in the black community, they weren't as vocal as they are
Right.
now.
Yeah, very true.
So yeah,
Mhm.
it was I like the music. That brought back a lot of memories.
Yeah, the music.
That's some club and house music, man.
Yeah, the music did.
Not this unbreak my
So,
heart or
and
unbreak
I'm
my
like, I
soul.
remember that. I remember listening to it.
Mm,
So yeah, but definitely a good show to check out.
mhm.
Queen Sugar is back. I've been watching it too, catching up on that.
Catch up on that.
Um,
This is last season, right?
yeah, it's the last season of Queen Sugar. It's definitely my show. House of Dragons, I did watch that
Hmm.
um, Sunday, and there's a new cast of characters because everybody's aged,
Yeah,
and the
10-year
father,
jump.
yeah, and the father is literally dead now.
Uh,
He looked like
Oh,
every episode he died. When I seen him, I said, "God damn, he lost his arm." Shit. I
what are
said,
you gonna
"Goodness gracious."
nasty, just nasty.
I said,
And
"He ain't gonna."
he got 12 strands of hair.
Oh, I said, "Goodness gracious." They might as well just hang that up because he's out of here. I
Yeah,
said, "Good."
it took me a few seconds to realize they had a time jump. Um
Oh yeah,
in
I
the
noticed that from the actors. Once I seen them, I said, "Oh yeah, they did
Oh,
a
yeah, well, yeah, especially from the princess when
yeah,
she was actually giving birth.
yeah."
Um
To a brown headed baby, to a
she,
dark headed baby. I'm just like, how many dark heads have you had? Three?
she
At
had
first,
3 and they all look like the same guy.
yes, that's what I'm saying. They all look like the same guy. At first, I thought it was Christian. I was like, oh, okay. But then I guess when she was like, no, she wasn't gonna leave, she found somebody else
She found
to
somebody
boink
else.
with. But um, you couldn't just boink with him and have babies by your actual relative, even
Mhm.
though
She should have got somebody close.
right, or somebody
Knowing
with some
damn
blonde
well
hair.
knowing
You
damn well the babies ain't come out with no locks.
No, they ain't coming out with no locks. They ain't coming out with no white hair. They straight brown haired babies. And you sit up
You
there
heard
talking
what the
about some,
queen said, right?
yeah.
The
He's
queen
like,
told
keep
her,
trying, keep trying, and maybe
you
one day
keep
he'll
trying.
look like
Maybe
you.
you'll get
You'll get
one."
one that look like you.
Because all that other night, he spit them out. They
Yes,
all of them look just
yes,
like him.
like him exactly. So yeah, that was totally crazy, but definitely check that out. I thought that
Mhm.
that was good.
Yeah, and his sister, the princess's husband,
Yeah,
his sister married her uncle.
right. Yeah. His sister married uncle, and then she was faced with the same
Yeah.
situation that the mother was faced with in the very beginning episode,
Mm-hmm.
where the baby was
Yeah.
breached,
Breach.
and
Mm-hmm.
they were basically going to kill the both of them because in that time they didn't, have the technology to save one and let one go. They really, both would die at this point. So she dragged herself to the dragon and made the dragon set her on fire. And of course, he
Yeah.
couldn't do it at first because they're not allowed to.
Too.
But I guess he
Mm-hmm.
saw
How
where
much pain she was
she
in.
pain she was in. So
Well, you know that the one daughter that does not have a dragon,
mhm.
I guess the egg didn't
Yeah, they didn't hatch.
hatch or was unfertilized.
Mhm.
I bet you she'll probably end up taking that dragon
Yeah,
because evidently that's the oldest and the
oldest
largest
dragon. Yeah,
dragon.
mhm.
So that one does not have a rider,
Yeah,
and she doesn't have one. So I can see her probably taking that one over.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but she kept saying Dracarys, and
yeah.
he was like, it's like,
He's like, no,
what?
I'm not doing this. And then
Mhm.
I guess he just
And he
looked at
burst.
her and
Yeah,
realized,
and she
yeah,
just looked like she was in so much pain.
yeah,
I mean, oh my goodness.
that must be
Yeah,
something.
I was just surprised that the that the uncle could father anything because
But
he wasn't having a good go
no,
as nasty as he was.
yeah, no, he
He stay out
wasn't.
them brothels. I thought he had the syphilis too.
Yeah, I mean, he might have had something. He had to get back home and get some dragon water and clean his
Mm-hmm.
system out.
Yeah,
Because
and the
that was,
king, I'm surprised he lasted as long.
yeah,
I
I
thought
really
I
thought
thought
he
he
was
had
gonna be dead. I
yeah I
thought he
thought
was
he had
gonna be
had the
dead.
gray, but he didn't.
Yeah,
He had leprosy.
yeah. Till I seen him looking like an ogre. I said, "Goodness gracious, what
Oh,
the
he
hell?"
looked like
He
death.
looks bad. Yeah, he looks really, really bad.
That's
And
because
I'm
of
like,
drinking wine all damn day long.
yeah, that's I'm like, there's no way she's sleeping with you at this point. You are really just like, no, this
And he probably smelled
was
horrible
horrible. I'm
because
sure he
the
smells
flesh
really, really bad. Yeah,
started with one finger, then
yeah.
two,
No,
then
he
your
started with
arm.
that hole in his back. Remember,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
he had the
Well, look,
hole
he
in his back.
when he was on her, and I was like, oh man, that's why I thought he had the syphilis
Oh,
because
mhm.
that boy. I was like, ooh,
Yeah,
you
that
need
shit
to
was
put some.
crazy.
You need to put some.
Put some A&D ointment on that. Put some
Oh,
tussin on that.
yeah,
He
I
needs some
don't think
tussin.
Tusson's strong enough because that's been evil shit,
Hey,
and back again when it was potent.
that's that medieval shit for your ass. But
Mhm.
yeah. So then there was that, and I think that's all I had for that. I don't know if there's any other show or movie that I watched. You still haven't watched the other two, so I'm gonna leave that one alone. I still have
Okay.
not watched The Woman King yet.
Oh
Um,
yeah, I did. You'd be proud of me. I went to a theater,
yes, you told me.
but now I got a scratch. Now I got a scratchy ass throat because I've been breathing that recycled ass air. All
uh,
those mouth breathers in there.
yeah. So
Luckily,
how was it?
it wasn't crowded. It was
Okay.
very good movie.
Was
Very
it
good movie.
okay?
Yes, definitely go see it. Um, listen. Really listen to it, and all
If
this stuff that these people are on this interwebs
mhm,
bullshit that they're talking about. That's because they didn't listen. They either didn't see it
right.
or they did not listen to the
Mm,
dialogue. Some people are just action people,
mm-hmm,
but um, she answered all of their questions if you just listen to the story.
mm,
You know, it's like yeah, they knew that they were uh enslaving that they were enslaving people,
mm-hmm,
but these were their enemies.
right.
You know,
Okay.
she had a problem with that also, and the king had a problem with that also. But they knew that
Mm,
they were kind of in too deep with the Europeans, and
okay.
they knew that eventually if they didn't give them these people, they would come after them.
Them. Yeah.
hmm So, all this stuff is like, oh, you shouldn't watch it, and it's them Hotepian,
Mm, yeah.
you know, what is that? The black sector.
Yeah.
whatever, that type of mentality. What is that? What do they call
The,
the men? The men sector over there. The red pill, blue pill, those kind of
yeah. Yeah.
that thinking, because you have to listen to the words and understand them. And if you don't understand it the first time, try listening. Well, I know you only sit through the theater once
Yeah.
now, but
I'll watch it. Once I watch it in the theater, then I'll watch it again personally, so then I could hear everything that I may have missed. Because
miss.
usually it's always not crowded, but it'll be some people in there, and I'll be like, "Would you shut the hell up? I'm trying to listen."
Yeah, but they're expensive as hell. God damn.
Yeah,
Cost me
well,
$22 for two people. I tell you,
yeah, she
I
told
bought a
me.
medium bag of popcorn and a bottle of water, and
Mm,
god damn it, that was not $15.
mm, 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 mm.
I should have snuck my own shit in there, like I always do anyway.
Well, I like the ones where you could have a little extra drink and stuff. So those are usually always more expensive for me. So I'm used to it at that
Oh
point.
my god, no. What you
Yeah.
talking about? You talking to a bootlegger, so
Yeah.
I'm like, this shit is free. I don't want to be bothered. But I will pop my own popcorn.
Right, exactly. But to support the movie, I will go see it.
Yeah, I'll go. Definitely, it is definitely worth going to see
Yeah.
if you're able to go when there's not a lot of people,
Right.
because you really need to get past the accents, and
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
because everybody had an accent.
Yeah.
The young lady that played in God, what is that? Not under well, Underground?
Yeah. Underground. You're right.
Yeah,
He's in it.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, she was in
Mhm.
there. She needs to work on a new cry, because she cried just the same way she cried in the other one. I was like, "Oh, baby, you need another one."
Yeah.
But, all these other women, they were fantastic.
Mhm.
Very, very
And that's
physical.
Underground on Prime,
Amazon Prime. Mhm.
Amazon Prime. Yes, that
Yeah,
Underground.
and she played on that, and she doesn't
Mhm.
look as though she aged
Yeah,
at all.
still looks the same.
But I was just thinking, I was like, Viola Davis is like 57, something like that,
Mhm.
doing all that shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Very physically demanding role, and I
and
think
she
that's what
definitely
everybody
did
was
it.
pretty much caught up in.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and it's like, when you really think, it's like, wow, this old lady doing all that shit.
Well, hell, Angela Bassett could do it. She could do it
I
too.
bet
She's
your
so
Meryl
fit.
Streep couldn't do that shit.
Right.
Have to have makeup and a body double. But it also has a good story with her also, but I won't tell you.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
another one. So
Sure. Not a problem. I will check it out.
yeah. Yeah, that unless I come across it first and I
Yeah.
say, guess what I got?
Right.
Well,
I mean, I
I'm
would
gonna
still
pop
go
some
to
popcorn.
support, but I would watch it first because I already know it's gonna be loud and I'm not gonna be able to hear everything that I need to hear. So then
That's
I
why
would.
I went early. I went
Yeah.
to the first show on a Friday.
Yeah. But
Kids were in school. There were white
mhm.
people in the audience. Matter of fact, I think I
Wow.
was the only black we were the only black people in there.
Shut up.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Mhm.
I always find that interesting when I go to watch movies. Like I went to see like 12 Years a Slave. I'm always into those kind of history things. And
Mhm.
it does surprise me when I see the others in there. But it gives me a little too at the same
Mhm.
time. I'll be like, what
You
you in
know
here
what?
to gloat? What you in here to gloat, bitch? Don't be gloating.
I'm dreaming about days gone by.
Right.
Um, it's usually older people.
Yeah, yeah.
I usually see a lot of older people
Yeah.
that during
That part is
the
true.
early show that time of the day and things like that, because it is less kids, and depending upon the type of movie
Mhm.
that it is, but expensive as hell. Oh my god, I'm surprised they actually lasted as long. But then
Yeah.
too, the movies don't stay in the theaters. They may be in there, what, 3 weeks at the longest,
Yeah.
and then
Now
they're
then
on
they're
pay.
streaming. Yeah, then they're on
Yeah, then
streaming
they're streaming.
platforms. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm
And,
glad it's still doing well though in the box
yeah,
office, even though considering.
definitely worth watching though.
Mhm.
Definitely worth it. And don't listen to what all the negative.
Yeah.
You have to listen to the movie for yourself. You'll actually answer all those questions, all those concerns and problems that they had 3-hour lives talking about.
Yeah, I mean, because just logically thinking, you would have to think that there was some sort of like uh, one where that kingdom had an issue with what they were doing, but two, they were out uh, manned as far as weapon so they couldn't really do
Yeah,
but so much because they didn't have the weapons that the Europeans had.
yeah,
So
and
they
not as many.
right, and then so they had to then find a way like, all right, how can we do this at least till we figure this out and can get them out of here. So
Hmm.
and it's unfortunate that so many people had to be caught up in that slave trade triangle. But then after a while, even as history shows, they went and got them anyway. Some of them wound up getting captured and
Yeah,
brought over. So
but then too, their definition of slavery is
was different.
different
Hmm.
from the Europeans,
Yeah.
where the European everybody could get it,
Right.
but with them, if they went in and they decimated their foes,
Yeah.
they would take the women,
Women.
and the children, um,
Right.
and the ones that were actually that might have surrendered, or the males,
Hmm.
um, and a lot of the tribes. Yes, it was more like an indentured servant
Servant.
for
Yeah.
certain, and it had a time limit.
Right. And then after a while, you became part of the tribe.
You
Like
be,
you just yeah.
they gave you the option
Right.
whether or not you wanted to become part of the tribe. You could marry in,
Right.
and even as their indentured servant or slave,
Hmm.
you could own livestock,
Right.
you could have families, but your family was not considered a slave.
Right.
Your sentence was your sentence,
Right.
and not anyone else's.
Mm.
Um, and it wasn't, until you drop dead.
Yeah.
Let me say, it doesn't surprise me. I know a few baby boomers who are interested in African and Black history.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah, you should know, because they're working, they're trying their damnedest to cover it up and erase it.
Yeah. Yeah. That part is true too. That part is
And
true.
then you actually see how fucked up they are, and
Yeah.
how dangerous they are, because they
Yeah.
repeat the same pattern
Yeah. Yeah.
over and over again. Because
Definitely.
we're long overdue another what was the Black Wall Street type thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're long, and I think the only reason why we haven't gotten to that point is because we have become more dangerous as a people. Also,
Hmm.
because we, as much as I dislike a lot of rap, there's a mentality that goes along with it of
Mm.
self-preservation. I'm not going to let anybody fuck over me, that type
Yeah.
of thing, and they're more comfortable with violence.
Mm. Yeah.
Everything's not a we're going to send it to the Lord.
Yeah.
We're going to pray
We're
for
gonna
you.
pray
No,
about it. Yeah.
we're going to pray about it.
Yeah.
And
No, we'll let you meet the Lord so you can pray together with Him
mhm, yeah,
in
yeah,
your own personal
and
time.
knowing the weaponry that's
Yeah.
actually out here on the streets.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but that's why they push to open up, to be able to carry and walk around and carry, because
Mhm,
that's what they're afraid of. That is the true fear. It's been that fear since the days of before Black Panther, but definitely during the
mhm,
Black Panther movement, that, what if they attack us? Even I've heard some people talk about, and I think Rico mentioned it last week as we were closing, about the purge situation that they're talking about in Chicago.
mhm.
Do I really think that that is true? True? I don't know. I'm still researching that. But again, I wouldn't be surprised
No.
um,
Mm-mm.
at the way that
You
and it's my
you
personal opinion.
got people cooking chicken with NyQuil, okay?
Right. The stupid shit. So, and I'm not even surprised about that, even if it is brought up, only because personally I feel that a lot of people are out here being paid to do all this spree killing, to
Mhm,
then push this whole thing of, well, just let them get it out their system. We'll have a day where we do this, and then everybody go, well, who's going to be able to hide? Who's going to be able to afford the security to protect themselves as they do in the Purge? Who will be able to afford that?
That's right. And nobody's going to put themselves online like that.
Right. So
And definitely not to protect somebody else.
Right. So I just think it's total, but that's why I don't really discount a lot of movies and things and think, oh, that's not going to happen. Oh, that's just fantasy. No. There's some reality in that. You keep pushing.
You always have a nut.
Yeah.
That
you
will
keep
try
pushing
it.
that idea of, look at all this violence. Look at all this. That's why every time I turn on the news, especially Fox, which I don't like to watch, they're always talking about Baltimore. Oh, this happened in Baltimore. Oh, this. And it's just like, oh, do you ever talk about something good happening in the same area? Why is it always that? But if there was another person in charge who was a different skin color, you wouldn't be talking about the violence in Baltimore as much. Every day you talk. Every day is something. And it's like, I know there's other stuff going on in this area. There's other stuff going on in other areas that you choose not to talk about. But everything is about that and this mayor, that and the mayor, that and the mayor, that and the mayor.
Oh, you have a lot of nuts where normally they would sit on their front porch, and spew a lot of that stuff.
Right.
Now they have the interwebs to do all that foolishness.
That is just crazy. But their jobs aren't protecting them. Ask Karen from Central Park. So don't get caught out here being slick at the mouth, because they will find your ass. Like that Filipino boy who was on a visa for school.
Yeah,
the blackface. And they chopped.
He did the blackface, and he was talking about the Little Mermaid.
They chopped the fuck out of him.
They hopped on his ass so fucking fast.
So fast. At first, he tried to even play smart because the sister jumped on, because apparently she's famous in the Philippines. And she jumped on and said, I spoke to my brother. He's taking it down. You should stop too. And she said, well, he should have thought about that before he did all this. And then he turned around and said, I'm not going to stop. So they said, okay. And they turned it up even more. So he got kicked out of school. His law program. Got kicked out of his law program for that. But my whole thing upon that was this in my thought when I saw it and read it and all that. What makes you think that you're not an other? You're a colored. You don't realize that? But the fact that they don't see that is so erased from them, that's the part that surprises me, and also at the same time angers me, that you don't even see yourself as an other.
Because they told them that they weren't. That's why.
But just because of the fact that they told you that and you actually believe that, I guess, is the part that angers me.
Well, of course, they don't lie. They don't lie.
Yeah, but you are them, because
our hair is straight.
But okay, but you would have been on the other. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're there as a token. You're there. You're the affirmative action hire. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're the international affirmative action hire for the school to make it look great. All right, cool. You're there in the law program. Great.
You're a bud. You fit right in.
But you put on blackface and thought that was gonna be funny.
And went after children. That's what made it so bad. They went after children. And they were going to crucify his ass. And that's exactly what they did. And then, too, he didn't think that they would be able to affect him coming from the internet. What can you do? You can't physically touch me.
They reached his sister all the way in the goddamn Philippines.
Yes.
That she started losing contracts. That's why she jumped on it.
That's
because
right.
She was getting in trouble. She was losing jobs. They were calling her like, you just lost this job because something your brother posted.
And they moved fast. That's the thing that got me.
Speeding bullet. I mean, by the time he blinked and woke up and got ready to go to class, they said, you know, class here. Your ticket has been prepared. You are now no longer a student here.
That's right.
Well, he went to go swipe that badge to go get something from the cafeteria. That shit said decline. or whatever his language is, duka duka nuka nuka, whatever it was. That shit said decline, not working. Sorry. Uh, I said, wow, goddamn. That's when I love our people. When we just get together and
That's
be
yeah,
like,
I
you know
should.
what?
That's right. Black Twitter
Cancel
was on
Christmas.
that shit.
Cancel Christmas for that mofo. Because you could have done it without doing the blackface. Even if you was trying to be funny. You actually
Mhm.
put the stuff on your face to appear in blackface and think that was
Blackface.
funny.
That's right. And again, like I said, you're talking about children,
Right.
our children,
Right.
little
Little
girls,
girls. Yeah. And you're a person of color, your goddamn self.
and they kind of had that thing going, like with the Black Panther.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, wow, this is something they can
This is
really see
something. Yeah.
themselves, and it
Right.
takes you as bad. We expect it from these white people, but
Right.
motherfucker, this
This is what I'm saying. Like, I
you come
expected
over here with a green card or a student visa, and then
to,
you gonna come and follow in their footsteps. Then we expect this shit from them.
yeah, but it's because again, you get accepted into the culture. You get accepted to the Ivy League school. So you feel like, yeah, I made it. No, honey, you're the token. And
Hmm.
they're so far removed from thinking that they're even like that to the point where it's like, you don't believe you're a token? Oh, well, let me show you. See how quickly you got removed? They didn't even want to hear what you had to say.
Oh
There was
hell
no,
no,
we're going to investigate. There was no investigation done.
because they were on it, and then like even even on TikTok, they were plotting against him. So they were gonna take him. They were gonna take him down. You know, people don't have nothing to do. They would definitely finding definite ways to get a hold of them.
Yeah.
And like I said, and they moved quick and in a
Just
hurry.
crazy.
They were
Just
calling. They were all in the look doing his video. They were all in the background. They
yes.
were just all. It was like
They were
CSI.
just
It
trying to
was
find anything. And when they found it, they found one of his things where he clipped and showed his school, and they found out what law school he was at,
yes,
and that
yes.
was it. And then from there, they found out who his sister was. And when she started losing, when they got to her, she all the way over there in the rice paddies, actressing,
Mhm,
and they chopped her jobs to the point where she got in contact with him and said, "You got to take this down now."
mhm.
And she, well, I spoke to
Being
him. He's going to take
stupid.
it down. Yeah,
Being stupid.
yeah, being stupid.
He should have apologized and called it a day.
Yeah, being racially insensitive when in fact you are one. You don't think you went no, you cannot tell me you've been in that school and ain't nobody called you no rice patty, no
Mhm.
whatever. None of them white boys ain't called you not.
Oh well, he was probably doing it to fit in.
Yeah, but see, but of course, see where it got you. Again, there's always a cost to these people that wanting to be fitting in. Uncle Ruckus, you got Clarence Thomas. There's always a price to this shit that you
That's
don't
right.
think you have to pay, and then come to find out you got to pay. Like he paying Jenny Thomas is his price because she is gonna ruin his legacy, whatever little legacy he
Oh, it's
had,
already done.
being the
It's
second black
already done
person,
because
being the
he was
second
supposed
black
to.
man to sit on the court. It's a
He was
wrap.
he was supposed to do some college course or something, and they were like, "Oh no, you will not be here." And this was the students. They were like, "You will not be here."
Yeah,
I said, normally he's unproblematic.
right.
Nobody really pays him too much attention, but they were like this time they were like, "No, you will not. We will not be sitting or wasting our money here."
Yeah, he better take his ass to Liberty University.
Hmm.
Just absolutely trash. Just trash. But yes, all these
Mhm.
things come with a cost. So
Would
I
you say,
just,
Patty?
it ain't worth it. But in
Financially.
actuality, they're not. Yeah, they always go in the proper society. Yeah, I just,
Mhm.
it's just, I don't get it. I don't get what these people think that they've made it, that they're different, or that
Mhm.
whatever.
And
Even
yeah, the
the last
TikTok
one
people definitely went in. Go
yeah,
ahead.
the
What were you saying?
last one I just saw, and then I'll close on this. There was I'm not sure what he was selling. I don't know if it was siding or something. It was just recently
Oh
going around.
yeah, the
And
ring doorbell.
yeah,
Kept
the ring.
well, see, that ring doorbell's doing a lot of people in. Isn't didn't Nia Long's
Nia
Old man
Long, yeah, Nia
got
Long
caught on the Ring
got caught
doorbell.
on the Ring doorbell.
Remember, they're always listening. You walk
That's
in the
it.
range, it has a motion
That's
detector, it
it. It sure
activates.
does. Soon
Don't
as you get
say
in,
anything.
right?
Don't
Soon
talk
as you
about
get in,
nobody's house being dirty.
that's
Don't
it.
talk about them having roaches. When you
Till you
see a
get
Ring
far
doorbell, don't
away.
say nothing.
Till you get far away from the door,
In your car.
because it will pick
In
up
your car. Because
everything.
you know also that Amazon has a feature where say if you had several Ring doorbells like in
Mhm.
your block,
Yeah.
that they can link
Oh.
eh, that they can link together. Say if
Mhm.
there's one person that's in your neighborhood and say they trip one,
Yeah.
that they would trip them all.
Mm. Wow.
So that way they would have you say if you break in a car or whatever,
Right.
then it's already activated if you're going down the street.
Mm.
So it would actually see you. So that don't
Uh,
mess around with those Ring doorbells
oh
because
yeah.
Big Brother is watching.
That's just
They have
crazy.
motion detectors. They activate before that little ring light comes
Yeah,
on.
it does. Yeah,
They're already
they're
activated
already
and they're
activated.
recording. And
Yeah.
that's what got Nia Long's old man
Yeah.
caught up, even though he was being nasty anyway. They were probably already in an open relationship.
Yeah. Probably
So,
so. It was just again, like always, once it becomes public, then that's the issue.
well, yeah, it's embarrassing
Yeah.
because they live on opposite sides of
That's
wherever.
yeah.
And she was probably fine with it. Just don't be sloppy.
Yeah.
I'm not always here. I'm trying to get my
Right.
I'm trying to get my career and stuff
Right.
going and doing that, and we're just pretty much back and forth.
Yeah.
When I see you, that
Right.
type of thing.
Exactly.
So she was probably upset just like Hillary Clinton.
Right.
You weren't supposed to put no stains on that dress. How dare you do that?
Right.
I told you be careful. I
Right.
don't care what you do, but I just don't want to hear about it.
That part is true.
Because if he and even if they were just engaged for 12 years,
Right.
or married like the Clintons,
Yeah.
that type of thing.
Yeah.
That's between those two. But now you made her look stupid.
Right. And now I got to cut you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's just crazy. But yeah, the delivery person was basically given an sales pitch and said the N-word to a black man. And he just walked away.
I guess he lost that sale.
Yeah, he lost that sale. And then he was trying to like fix it, but it wasn't fixable.
Now what can you do? What is your comeback?
It was
nigga.
Because I don't even know why how it even came out. It was like, yeah, we're just here selling.
No, it was just.
But
well, you know what it is? Because he looked Hispanic. Now they do use the N-word a lot.
Yeah,
they use it more than we do.
That's a whole nother thing that confuses me again.
But you had to look at his age too. He looked young. He was 20-ish.
Yeah, but I mean, he looked like he think that he talked to, and the friends are okay with him talking like that. But it's not,
Yeah, but when you're out at work, you don't.
Right.
You curb that.
Yeah. First of all, you don't talk to everybody like that because you could have got your whole life flashed before your face.
Oh, he just saw some flashes.
Yeah, but I think dude recognized that his ring light was taking it all in, so he didn't want to, have to deal with any charges due to this person's ignorance. So, yeah, but that was pretty interesting. I thought that was that's a way to lose your job and a sale all in one moment.
What can you say?
Yeah, I don't know.
You couldn't say anything. Just say, "I'm sorry," and have a nice day.
Use a hard R and not the N. To me, it don't even matter. Even when people go with that phonetic stuff, it's like hard R.
You know the thought that's behind it.
Yeah, because even when he said it, he said, "Oh no," like he instantly knew.
Yeah, that's what he figured out. He fucked up. That's what it was.
That's right. When he knew he fucked up was.
Because it's like, oh, yeah. Okay,
right. And then it was no fixing that because then he realized, because when he walked away, he realized at that moment of the ring light.
Yeah,
And that's what made him
and you
turn
know it's gonna
around.
go viral. You
Yeah,
know it's gonna
and
go
that's what
out.
made him turn around and think, "Oh shit, I'm gonna lose my job. Maybe if
Uh-huh.
I no, I can't talk to him because you don't want to hear nothing from me at this point." So yeah, you just gotta chalk that up. That's the way it goes. You know,
Mhm.
I mean, it ain't like somebody, comes out their mouth and be like, because a lot of these wetbacks or something, along those lines when talking. And that's the part I don't get. People act like, oh, it was just a slip of the tongue. People don't say those type of things in regular
You learn the difference
conversation.
when you're at work doing business. You have, you code
It's like
switch.
code switching. Yeah, it's code switching. I just I don't. There's no. It's unexcusable that you really would just be like, blah, blah, blah. Like who the fuck does that?
Yeah, an N is an N is an N.
Yeah, right.
And then it's a generational thing too. I mean, because
Yeah.
I'll say it. I don't like it, but I'll say it to refer to certain people
Right,
and
right.
their actions, that
Yeah,
type of thing. But
yeah.
some people say
But
it
the
as a
true
term of
meaning of the
comment.
word, yeah,
Uh-huh. But when I hear Hispanic people say it, and they do it a lot,
yeah,
it's just it's a generational thing.
yeah.
And
But
I know it's not
sometimes they're
because
not
they're
even
calling
talking.
each other. They're talking to each other, referring to each other as that.
Really?
Yeah, they're
Hmm.
calling each other nigger. They're not saying nigger to like another black person. They talk my nigga, whatever, and they're talking to another Hispanic person. And so it's totally different there. All I know is that they better not call me a nigga. Okay, plain and simple. Because
And
I'm not your nigga. I'm not your homeboy. I mean,
yeah,
even like certain things like ages things. Uh, they'll say who do they refer to? Like they'll say OG. That's
yeah,
fine, but
right,
I'm not your boy.
right, yeah,
That type of thing. There's just certain things that it's age
yeah.
related.
That's just crazy. That is really,
Yeah,
really
well, I guess he knew he wasn't gonna get no commission off of that one.
right. We can wrap that up. Alrighty. Well, it's about that time. You beautiful black people and other people who out there. Thank you for watching. Any closing words, thoughts, ideas?
No, be careful.
Yeah,
Be smart.
yeah.
Try to take it easy.
Do all that.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if we're gonna have a King's Court this Friday, so if you see it posted, then we are. I don't know. A lot of situations
A
happening.
lot of stuff.
All this stuff being dug up yet again that has been old and past. I don't know, but yeah, just
Yeah, I mean, a
thinking
whole lot of stuff. Oh,
yeah, a whole
man.
lot of old stuff, old people wiggling their way back into the limelight over some foolishness, people acting like they just heard the stuff for the first time, lying like shit. And when they all got people to pay and they need to be focused on paying the people that they need to pay because they all owe somebody some money, which is the part that I'm not understanding. I got all this time to do this shit. Don't you got somebody to pay like Cardi B? Ain't she snatching? Ain't she about to garnish your whole life?
Mhm.
Focus.
And she gonna reach her hand all the way over in Africa.
And then you got the other one giving out old stuff about Larry to old uh swap meet, Bishop swap meet. And it's like, dude, aren't you still paying not only your lawyers, but Larry for what happened, for what he took you to court for and won? Come on, like this shit, you can't even make this shit up. Some of this shit is just like some of y'all get jobs so you don't have to
Yeah, it's a lot of time.
spend so much
Some people have
time
a lot of time on
on
their
shit
hands.
that is just like I, I'm not even going into the other stuff. I'm staying out of it.
Mm.
That whole I don't know what it is. I've tried to reach out to find out what exactly is this.
No, just leave
Because
it alone. Just leave it alone.
but I'm gonna leave it alone.
Well, okay, well, we're gonna call it a night.
Yep, we are. And on that note, everybody be safe, be blessed, have a good night. And until next time, America,
Good night.
peace.